All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of For the Most Part podcast. And this week, I have a real interesting guest. I have Mr. Paxson Chase. He's from Trenton, New Jersey. Paxson, welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about, like, give me the backstory. Give me everything, like a little brief bio. You know.
Well, first off, thanks for having me. But uh, first, my name. The way I got my name, because everyone has me like it's a different name. It's something you don't see. It's a street that we used to go on to get Wendy's all the time when I was a kid. Like me and my friends, we would walk, ride our bikes all the time. And it's a street called Paxson Ave, and right
Right.
next to Paxson, right on Paxson Ave is the Chase Bank. And one day I was sitting there with my friend. We grew up now. We're driving and stuff like that. And I'm like, I need a better name. Like my stage name is not good. My stage is my initials at the top for like JKS. And I'm like I need a better name. His name is not good. Like there's 1,000 JKSs in the world. I don't know. My
Yeah.
friend just looks and goes, "Oh, Paxton Chase right there." And then it's been like that ever since. Like, so that's how I got my name. I grew up around like gritty, like real hip hop, like just rapping and ciphers and
Right.
freestyles and all that type of stuff. I used to do that a lot when I was in lunchrooms and stuff like that. It was just fun to rap. It was fun to make music. Um, as I grew older and dealt with my own issues and dealt with life itself, I decided to start making a certain type of music. I didn't want to rap
Yeah.
anymore because rap was too easy for me personally. But I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to take it and be something totally different with it. And that's when I started to do this alternative vibe and change the whole landscape of who I was and what my like city or my friends have ever seen. Because now I wasn't just
Mm.
singing and I wasn't just rapping, but I was taking different sounds and mixing it together, and I've been like that ever since.
Wow. 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 So guys, I think he just gave us his whole life story in one. So talk about like your first release, what that whole process was like. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't like it, you
My
know,
first release. My
yeah.
first project was called Walk With Me, and every project I try to keep different, and that's before I even like made the switch over to like the whole alternative vibe. So I was still
Right.
kind of rooted in hip hop, and I had a ball. Remember, as far as I remember, I had a ball making that. I had a ball with the features and the people I met. I was doing shows at such a young age. I think I was like maybe 18 and 19. Just I was
Right.
performing through New York and Philly and just all over like my areas and while going to school and going to work. So I remember that part. I hated that. I hated all of that. But
Mm.
the the overall making of the music, I remember that being a great time. Welcome Me was one of my crowning achievements because it has a song that really that put me to where I am today, and it
Right.
and because of Welcome Me, I probably wouldn't be here. So I enjoyed the process of Welcome Me, although it's not one of my favorite projects because I just feel like I've done better, and plus I'm more into the sound that I wanted to be all along.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 You sound like one of like us and the other real serious artists who, we like to make the music, but there's certain things that we don't like. There's some
Mm,
artists who are out there, they like everything supposedly, but deep down we know there are obviously projects that of your own that you don't like. And
yeah,
you still go through with it because
yeah,
it's part of the art, it's part of the creative process. So
exactly.
so what has been the reception like for your releases, going from, you know I guess, what, hip hop into the
Mm.
alternative? How are your followers enjoying it? What's the
Um,
feedback?
the way I try to do it my best, I didn't just switch 180.
Right, right.
Um, I kind of made every project kind of slowly gear to it, so like they had a hint like, oh, he's doing a lot of different things. And my first project that switch was a project called Limbo. That's when I made the full switch out of it. I have around 10 projects out now. And Limbo, number wise, has done the worst since I dropped Limbo in 2019, and it's still my lowest rated number project ever since. Like, that's when I fully made the full
Switch.
160 turn. It's
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm doing now. Because it went from Welcome Me to Pink One. Pink One, I had a little bit of both, but I was gearing them. Then Limbo, like, hi, here we are. And they're like, no, we're
Yeah.
not doing this.
Yeah.
And worst rated I've ever seen my numbers go. Not to say I got like the greatest numbers in the world, but you know your gauge, you know where you're at and stuff. And the worst. But I just kept doing me, and it started to grow again because I didn't want to be afraid and turn back, and then I'm back at square one. Sometimes you gotta take that fall to keep going. So,
Yep. Yep.
but ever since then, it's been a wild ride, man. I just enjoy it.
Right, right. Oh, and that's good. And that's all part of the journey, which is you get to experience different things despite the good and bad releases from what I've seen in my personal experience. It's all part of the experience for me. Yeah, yeah. So are there any genres or other genres that you'd want to get into besides getting into like just hip hop and the alternative? You're looking pop, you're looking rock.
I try to do it I try to keep every project to be a different genre. I mean, my
Okay.
grounded root is alternative, but I know my last project, Pretend, was indie pop, and
Right.
I have a project called Yeah Whatever Cool to You, where that's like a lo-fi rock. Like I try to like switch up a little bit and have more fun with it because I like doing one thing boring at some point.
Yeah.
I want to go around and do everything. So I try my best to do everything, but I know that at the end of the day, when time for my fans to come to me, they know like, oh, I know what he's gonna do, but he did it this way. Like that's different. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's what I try to make it at least.
Right. So talk about like one of your best and worst experiences generally in the industry. And I know we all have one of those. It doesn't have to be like PG rated or whatever, those kind of things. But
Okay.
generally speaking, there's always that those particular things that you just go, should have made a different choice or something.
Oh my god. I should have made a different choice. I have so many of those, but I think the one that comes to mind right now, I was just starting up, like I was performing and stuff, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I took any gift they gave me. They were like, yeah, you pay us to perform. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Like I just didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to be on stage. I wanted to get my name. I wanted people to see me and hear me.
Right.
And I signed up for something called a showcase tour, and I didn't know that at the time, but don't do a showcase. I learned that the hard way. I think about it every day, especially when I like talk to my friends that are trying to do music. And the first thing I tell them is, don't do a showcase.
Yeah.
The amount of work and money I put in to help their platform and barely even touch my own was insane. It felt like I was being scammed out of my own artistry. It was hell. To this day, I'm friends with 2 or 3 people that I've actually met on the showcase.
Right.
And we still sit down like, bro, that was hell. Like, why did we do that? Like, it's just not a good idea in total. So that got to be my biggest regret is doing the showcase.
Yeah. And what is one positive thing that you've enjoyed so far, generally?
Positive is just the fans, man. Especially after I've made the change. I mean, especially because of the content that I talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of people that come to me with their, their personal issues and stuff they go through, And sometimes people say, I really related to that. And it helped. Like, thank you very much. Or, it's good to feel not alone. And that makes me feel like crazy because, like, I started doing it because I felt alone and I didn't want people to feel alone. So the fact that my mission is in some way, shape, or form, reciprocated, and that's all I can really, ask for.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep, guys. That's deep. So one thing that I'm curious about, which I've been talking to a lot of the artists on a global scale, is that how is the reception and the competition like for Afrobeats? Because in Trinidad, Afrobeats has kind of just taken over the whole radio play. That includes Apple streaming, Spotify, you name it. What is it like for you guys out there? And how has the hip hop alternative culture dealt with Afrobeats?
I can't say. Well, in Trinidad at least, I haven't heard any Afrobeat. I know we have like an Afrobeat like nightclub, but other than that, I haven't even seen a lot of homegrown Afrobeat artists, and that's what I really hate about. I don't want to say hate, but that's what I really dislike about my area is it's mostly rooted in like just rap or drill or stuff like that. Or it has a little bit of R&B. I'm not gonna like just shit on the town, but I just really wanted it to be something more diverse. Like that's why I took the
Yeah.
turn that I took, because I don't want to be in the same box. And I feel like a lot of artists that do a lot of different things, but they don't get the same love here. Like with me, um, I have the same amount of like numbers and fans and play as a lot of the biggest artists in my cities, but because of the music I make, they don't even mention me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I kind of just trying to talk to them to, they want this simple, this is what they want in the town, and that's what they're gonna take. But unfortunately, I don't get it.
Wow. Okay. All right. What is one piece of advice that you would give to your fans, the listeners, to people in general, if they want to get into, just being an artist, creating music? What is one thing that you'd say to them?
What I would say is, it's not as expensive as you think.
I agree.
It's not, man. When I was afraid. I'm like, I don't have money for this. When I first started, I started with like a group. It was me in high school with 4 of the guys, and we put our money together to buy a $500 mic. We're like, this is gonna be the greatest thing. We bought a computer, this, that, and the third, and interfaces. The usual.
Yeah.
And I mean, it worked. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't needed. And then eventually, me and those people had a falling out, and I was by myself. And I didn't have that equipment. They had it all. And I bought a $100 mic, a $200 interface, and a really old computer from a pawn shop. And on that song is my biggest song to date. It's not that expensive. I mean, they make it look expensive because that's how they want you. That's how they get you. But you could start with the smallest and make it the biggest. And that's something that I had to learn.
And what's real interesting is that we had a guy from Johannesburg on Mikhailo Beats, and he was basically saying the exact same thing that you were saying. He was like, you need to just master the art of what you're creating with just what you have. As long as you could do that, you could survive. You could make a little couple extra dollars, you know what I mean?
And then you start to upgrade from there.
Exactly. And he was like, yeah, a lot of people get it twisted. People spend a lot of money on buying stuff, and they never actually the quality of their production still are subpar. They have the most expensive monitors, the most expensive mixing board,
all that.
Yeah.
So, I know some people that go to like the biggest professional studios and spend hundreds of dollars on hours of studio time, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then there's something like, come on, like, practice more, maybe. Like, it's like you can do so much more with so little, and then build up how big you choose to be. A lot of people think you got to go straight to the big leagues or be a big league player, and that deters them from being, what they want to be. And I had to learn that the hard, because I at that point, it was either for me, I was like, either I'm done or I got to figure this out. And I really just couldn't be done. Couldn't quit because I didn't have anything, so I just kind of saved up my money and just bought the cheapest I could buy and went from there. And now I have some pretty good equipment, more expensive, but back then I wouldn't even thought about having it.
Right. Fair point. So, Paxson, what can we expect from you in the next couple of months to a year, 2 years? Where can we find you? Are you doing any tours? Because that's a thing right now. A lot of these artists, aside from the whole COVID situation, I know a lot of places have kind of opened back up their places to live performances. So it'd be interesting to see, and hear where you're performing, and if people nearby, some of the listeners are from around your area, so they may want to come and check you out,
I'm not really doing the performances right now. I just recently dropped my last mixtape or EP called The World in Between.
Nice.
Excuse me. And after that, I'm kind of just chilling. I am working on something else. I have a new single called Here We Go Again, dropping October 25th. But other than that, I'm not really moving around yet, not really doing too much. I'm working on my next project, but I don't have no type of release date. I don't even say coming soon anymore, because then people were like, well, you said it was soon. It's been soon. So I have something. I'm working on it, and we'll go from there. But at the moment, I do have a single dropping October 25th. But other than that, that's all I got cooking right now.
Nice. Any producers that you're looking forward to working with in the nearby future as well, or you do your own stuff?
I kind of do everything myself. I mean,
okay.
If anything, when it comes to beats, I go to my friends, like friends that I can really trust. Other than that, it's been a year since I've outsourced. I've been
help. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get it all done myself now because it's a better connection, personally for me, and I enjoy it.
Nice.
I enjoy the time.
Nice. Well, what we could do, plug your stuff, tell the people where they can find you, and we will drop all of that stuff in the description box somewhere below this video. So yeah, you go ahead and plug your stuff.
Everywhere, whether it's Google, Instagram, Snapchat, it's Paxson Chase. That's Paxson, Chase like the bank, and you'll find me.
Yeah, nice. Well, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Paxson, thank you for joining us. Like, this has
No
been
problem.
such a deep conversation, and we definitely would like to have you back again sometime soon.
Definitely.
And we'll chat outside of this forum, because I'm interested in collaborating with not just musicians and creatives in my area but around the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll definitely have a conversation, because I think that international connection is critical for sustaining music, especially for the international artists and independent artists. Yeah, we need to be like friends, you know what I mean?
So, I'm down. I'm always down.
Nice. Cool. Well, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You can find Paxson stuff down in the description box below. And that's it. We'll see y'all, and we will hear y'all next week, Friday at 8. Peace out, guys.